Imagine a world before microphones, crowds gather in grand halls, hungry for spectacle. One man, barely out of his teens, holds them spellbound, not with words, but with music. Franz Liszt, a name whispered in awe, a force about to ignite the world stage. This is the story of a legend, a composer who redefined virtuosity, a pianist who moved audiences to tears and frenzy. This is the legacy of Franz Liszt, a genius who shaped the landscape of romantic music. Born in 1811, Liszt's life reads like a dramatic opera. From his humble beginnings in the Hungarian countryside to the glittering salons of Paris, his was a life lived in crescendo. His music, a whirlwind of passion and innovation, broke boundaries and set hearts racing. Join us as we journey through the life and times of this extraordinary artist. Prepare to be captivated by the sheer power and poetry of his music. Liszt's story is not just for music aficionados, it's a story of ambition, of pushing limits, of the power of raw talent to captivate the world. It's a story that transcends time, reminding us of the enduring power of art to move and inspire. Franz Liszt's musical journey began early, nurtured in the heart of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Born in Reding, a small village, young Franz displayed prodigious talent. His father, an amateur musician himself, recognized this spark. He became his son's first teacher, instilling a rigorous discipline and a deep love for music. The boy practiced diligently, his small fingers dancing across the keyboard, already hinting at the virtuosity to come. Word of the young prodigy spread, reaching the ears of local patrons. Soon Liszt found himself performing for the Hungarian aristocracy, captivating them with his precocious talent. His reputation grew, and at the tender age of 9, he gave his first public concert. The audience was enthralled, witnessing the birth of a musical sensation. Liszt's talent was undeniable, but his family knew he needed further guidance. They sought out the best teachers in Vienna, the musical heart of Europe. Here, Liszt encountered the renowned Czerny, a former pupil of Beethoven himself. Under Czerny's tutelage, Liszt's technique flourished, his natural talent honed to a razor-sharp edge. He absorbed the works of the great masters, drawing inspiration from their genius and developing his own unique voice. Paris, the epicenter of art and culture, beckoned the young virtuoso. In 1823, the Liszt family arrived in the French capital, their hopes pinned on the city's promise. The 14-year-old Liszt plunged headfirst into the vibrant Parisian scene, a whirlwind of salons, concerts, and artistic ferment. He performed for the city's elite, his dazzling technique and passionate playing leaving them spellbound. The salons of Paris became Liszt's musical playground. He crossed paths with the era's luminaries, Chopin, Berlioz, Paganini. These encounters ignited his creative fire, pushing him to explore new musical frontiers. The dashing young pianist, with his flowing hair and fiery performances, became the talk of the town. Ladies swooned, critics raved, and Franz Liszt, the boy from Reding, was well on his way to becoming a legend. But Liszt's ambitions extended beyond mere virtuosity. He yearned to compose, to create music that reflected his soul. Inspired by the romantic ideals of the era, he sought to infuse his music with drama, emotion, and literary themes. His compositions began to turn heads, showcasing not just technical brilliance, but also a depth of feeling that resonated with audiences. Liszt's impact on the piano world was revolutionary. He redefined what it meant to be a virtuoso. His performances were legendary, characterized by an unprecedented level of technical brilliance and emotional depth. He possessed an uncanny ability to connect with his audience, transporting them on a wave of musical passion. His hands flew across the keyboard with astonishing speed and precision. Yet there was always a sense of control, a masterful command over the instrument. Liszt's playing was not merely about technical prowess, it was about using technique to convey emotion, to tell stories, to paint sonic landscapes. His compositions mirrored this virtuosity. He pushed the boundaries of piano technique, exploring new sonic possibilities. His etudes became standard repertoire for aspiring pianists, challenging them to reach new heights of technical mastery. But beyond the technical brilliance, Liszt's music was imbued with a romantic spirit. Vienna, the city of waltzes and grand opera houses, became Liszt's musical crucible. Under Czerny's strict tutelage, the young prodigy blossomed. Hours were spent in rigorous practice. Czerny recognized Liszt's raw talent and sought to channel it. He drilled his pupil in the works of Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart. He encouraged Liszt's natural flair and dramatic expression. True artistry lay in the ability to move hearts and stir souls. Under Czerny's guidance, Liszt's playing took on a new dimension. Life in Vienna wasn't all smooth melodies for the young Liszt. His father, Adam, a constant presence and driving force behind his early success, fell ill and passed away in 1827. The loss devastated the 17-year-old Franz, plunging him into a period of deep grief and uncertainty. He withdrew from public life, seeking solace in his music and grappling with the weight of his sudden responsibility as the family breadwinner. Emerging from this period of mourning, Liszt found a renewed sense of purpose. He threw himself into teaching, nurturing a new generation of aspiring pianists. He began composing prolifically, exploring new musical ideas and pushing the boundaries of piano technique. His concerts, once showcases of youthful virtuosity, now revealed a maturity, a depth of emotion that resonated deeply with audiences. Paris beckoned once more, its allure too strong to resist. Liszt returned to the French capital, but he was no longer the wide-eyed prodigy seeking approval. He was a seasoned artist, confident in his abilities and ready to conquer the world stage. His performances became legendary, his name synonymous with virtuosity and artistic innovation. Paris in the 1830s was a hotbed of artistic fervor, and Liszt, ever the restless spirit, found himself drawn to its energy. Among the luminaries who graced the city's stages, one name stood out: Niccolò Paganini, the enigmatic violinist whose virtuosity bordered on the supernatural. Liszt, attending one of Paganini's mesmerizing concerts, was profoundly affected. Paganini's command over the violin, his ability to conjure a seemingly impossible range of sounds from the instrument, ignited a fire in Liszt's imagination. He saw in the violinist a kindred spirit, a fellow artist who pushed the boundaries of technical possibility in service of artistic expression. Inspired, Liszt embarked on a quest to achieve a similar level of virtuosity on the piano. This encounter sparked a period of intense creative exploration for Liszt. He began composing a series of etudes, challenging pieces designed to push the limits of piano technique. These works, inspired by Paganini's dazzling displays, were unlike anything heard before, incorporating rapid arpeggios, daring leaps across the keyboard, and innovative uses of pedaling to create a wide range of sonic effects. A literary symphony. The Romantic spirit, with its emphasis on emotion, individuality, and the power of the imagination, permeated the arts in the 19th century. Liszt, a man of his time, found himself drawn to this movement's embrace. He devoured the works of Romantic writers like Victor Hugo, Lord Byron, and Heinrich Heine, their words igniting his musical imagination. Liszt believed that music could be more than just beautiful sounds. It could tell stories, evoke emotions, and paint vivid pictures in the listener's mind. He sought to break free from the traditional structures of classical music to create a new form that could express the full range of human experience with the same power and immediacy as literature. This ambition led to the creation of a new musical form, the symphonic poem. Inspired by literary works, these orchestral pieces aimed to capture the essence of a story, a poem, or a painting in musical form. Liszt's symphonic poems, such as Faust and Dante's Symphony, were groundbreaking works, blurring the lines between music and literature and paving the way for future composers to explore new avenues of expression. Love and Loss, the Countess d'Agoult. Liszt's personal life, as turbulent and passionate as his music, intertwined with his artistic journey. In the salons of Paris, he encountered Marie d'Agoult, a beautiful and intelligent countess trapped in a loveless marriage. Their connection was immediate, a whirlwind of shared passions and forbidden desires that defied societal conventions. In 1834, Marie, defying the constraints of her social standing, eloped with Liszt. Their scandalous affair became the talk of Parisian society, forcing them to seek refuge in Switzerland. Theirs was a love story for the ages, filled with grand passion, intellectual stimulation, and the challenges of living life on their own terms. Their relationship, though tumultuous at times, profoundly influenced Liszt's music. Marie, a writer and intellectual, encouraged his literary leanings and inspired some of his most evocative compositions. Their love produced 3 children, one of whom, Cosima, would later become the wife of composer Richard Wagner, further intertwining Liszt's legacy with the musical giants of the era. Years of pilgrimage. By the mid-1830s, Liszt was at the pinnacle of his fame. His concerts were legendary and his compositions celebrated, his name synonymous with virtuosity and innovation. Yet, beneath the surface of this glittering success, a restlessness stirred within him. He craved a deeper artistic purpose, a way to use his talent for something more than just dazzling audiences. This search for meaning led him on a series of journeys across Europe, a period he later dubbed his years of pilgrimage. He traveled extensively, immersing himself in different cultures, exploring new musical ideas and seeking inspiration in the beauty of nature and the grandeur of art and architecture. These travels had a profound impact on Liszt's music. He began incorporating folk melodies and rhythms from the countries he visited, infusing his compositions with a new sense of color and texture. His musical language became more adventurous, his harmonies more daring, his forms more experimental. The seeds of his later, more introspective works were sown during these years of pilgrimage, as Liszt sought to move beyond virtuosity and delve into the depths of human emotion and spiritual exploration. Liszt's restless spirit found a new outlet in orchestral music. He wasn't content with merely transcribing orchestral scores for the piano. He yearned to create his own symphonic landscapes. He envisioned a new form of music, one that transcended the traditional symphony and embraced the power of storytelling. This vision gave birth to the symphonic poem, a genre he pioneered and perfected. Inspired by literature, art, and the world around him, Liszt's symphonic poems were evocative tone poems. Les Préludes, perhaps his most famous, paints a vibrant tapestry of life's journey, from youthful passion to the trials and triumphs of adulthood. With soaring melodies and dramatic orchestration, Liszt captured the essence of human experience in musical form. Liszt's approach to orchestration was as innovative as his musical ideas. He treated the orchestra as a single, expressive instrument, exploring new sonic possibilities and pushing the boundaries of traditional orchestration. His scores were filled with daring harmonies, rich textures, and dramatic contrasts, creating a sound world that was both thrilling and emotionally resonant. While Liszt's orchestral works broke new ground, his piano compositions remained at the heart of his legacy. He poured his soul into his piano music, exploring the instrument's full potential with an unparalleled mastery. From the dazzling virtuosity of his Hungarian rhapsodies to the introspective beauty of his Années de Pèlerinage, Liszt's piano works remain cornerstones of the repertoire. His transcendental études challenged pianists with their technical demands and emotional depth. These pieces weren't mere exercises in virtuosity, they were musical journeys, each exploring a different facet of human emotion. Liszt's ability to weave technical brilliance with profound emotional depth set him apart as a true master of the piano. Liszt's influence on piano technique was immeasurable. He expanded the instrument's expressive possibilities, introducing new techniques like the use of the sostenuto pedal to create ethereal effects and the exploration of extreme high and low registers to evoke a wider range of emotions. His innovations continue to inspire and challenge pianists today, pushing the boundaries of what's possible on the instrument. Liszt's influence extended far beyond his own performance and compositions. He was a passionate advocate for his fellow musicians, using his fame and influence to champion the works of other composers. He was a tireless promoter of new music, recognizing and supporting the talents of younger composers like Wagner, Berlioz, and Brahms. His generosity knew no bounds. He often gave benefit concerts to raise funds for struggling artists or worthy causes. He opened his home to musicians from all walks of life, creating a salon where artistic minds could meet, exchange ideas, and inspire one another. Liszt's generosity and unwavering belief in the power of music helped shape the musical landscape of his time. Liszt's commitment to musical education was equally profound. He believed that music held the power to transform lives, and he dedicated himself to nurturing the next generation of musicians. He taught extensively, sharing his knowledge and experience with countless students, many of whom went on to become renowned performers and composers in their own right. While deeply rooted in the Romantic tradition, Liszt possessed a remarkably forward-looking sensibility. He was drawn to the experimental and the unconventional, always seeking to push the boundaries of musical expression. He championed the works of composers who were considered radical in their time, recognizing their genius and paving the way for their acceptance by the wider musical world. Wagner, with his groundbreaking operas and bold harmonic language, was a particular favorite of Liszt's. He recognized Wagner's genius early on, providing him with financial support, conducting his works, and even offering his daughter Cosima's hand in marriage. Liszt's unwavering support played a crucial role in Wagner's eventual rise to fame. Liszt's open-mindedness extended beyond the realm of music. He was a man of wide-ranging interests, well-versed in literature, philosophy, and the arts. He corresponded with leading intellectuals of his time, engaging in lively debates about art, religion, and the nature of human existence. Liszt's insatiable curiosity and willingness to embrace new ideas made him a true Renaissance man of the 19th century. Liszt's personal life was as dramatic and unconventional as his music. His relationship with Marie d'Agoult, though unconventional, had been a defining chapter in his life. Princess Carolyne Wittgenstein, a Polish noblewoman, entered his life in the 1840s. Their connection was immediate, blossoming into a deep and abiding love. Carolyne recognized and nurtured Liszt's genius, becoming his muse and intellectual companion. Their relationship thrived for many years despite societal disapproval. Carolyne's influence on Liszt's music was profound. She encouraged his spiritual leanings, prompting him to explore religious themes in his compositions. Under her influence, Liszt delved into sacred music, composing oratorios, masses, and other choral works. Christus, a monumental oratorio, stands as a testament to Liszt's religious devotion and Carolyne's influence. Carolyne also encouraged Liszt's interest in Hungarian folk music. This led to the creation of works like the Hungarian Rhapsodies, celebrating the vibrancy of Hungarian folk music. The mid-19th century found Liszt seeking a haven for his evolving artistic vision. He found it in Weimar, a small German city with a rich cultural heritage. As Kapellmeister to the Grand Duke of Weimar, Liszt embarked on a new chapter. Weimar, under Liszt's guidance, became a hotbed of musical innovation. He transformed the court orchestra into a world-class ensemble, attracting talented musicians. Liszt's time in Weimar was marked by extraordinary creativity. Freed from touring demands, he composed prolifically, producing groundbreaking works. Liszt's commitment to pushing musical boundaries extended beyond his own compositions. He used his position in Weimar to champion the works of other progressive composers. Richard Wagner, his son-in-law, found a staunch ally in Liszt. Liszt conducted the world premiere of Wagner's opera Lohengrin in Weimar. He recognized the genius of Wagner's vision and used his influence to bring Wagner's music to a wider audience. Liszt also championed the works of Hector Berlioz, another composer who embraced a more programmatic approach to music. He recognized the originality of Berlioz's orchestration and his ability to create a viscerally thrilling sound. Liszt's piano playing evolved during the Weimar years. He moved away from purely virtuosic displays, seeking a deeper form of expression. His performances became about conveying a wide range of emotions. He explored the full expressive potential of the instrument, experimenting with new techniques. His compositions from this period reflect this evolution in his playing. The Années de Pèlerinage showcase a blend of technical mastery and emotional depth. The symphonic poem, a genre Liszt pioneered, reached its full flowering during the Weimar years. Inspired by literature and art, Liszt created orchestral works that transcended the traditional symphony. Les Préludes, his most famous symphonic poem, takes the listener on a journey through life's stages. With its soaring melodies and innovative use of orchestral color, Les Préludes exemplifies Liszt's ability to capture human experience in music. Other symphonic poems, like Tasso and Mazeppa, further showcased Liszt's ability to transform literary works into vivid musical tapestries. As Liszt entered his later years, his music took on a more introspective, spiritual quality. His relationship with Princess Carolyne deepened his religious faith, which found expression in his music. He turned increasingly to sacred music, composing oratorios, masses, and other choral works. Christus, a monumental oratorio, explores the life and teachings of Christ. Even in his secular works, a sense of serenity and acceptance permeates the music. Franz Liszt's influence on Western music is immeasurable. He redefined what was possible on the piano and expanded the expressive potential of the orchestra. As a conductor, teacher, and advocate, he nurtured a new generation of composers. His music, once considered radical, is now firmly established in the classical canon. His legacy continues to inspire and challenge musicians and audiences alike. As the 19th century waned, Liszt remained a formidable presence in music. He transitioned from dazzling virtuoso to revered elder statesman. While his performing days were largely behind him, his influence remained potent. Young composers sought his guidance and inspiration. Liszt welcomed them, nurturing their talents and encouraging their artistic explorations. He moved between Rome, Weimar, and Budapest, still seeking new sounds and ideas. These were his twilight years, a time for reflection and passing on the torch to a new generation. In the twilight of his life, Liszt was drawn back to his Hungarian roots. He began incorporating Hungarian folk melodies and rhythms into his compositions with renewed fervor. His Hungarian rhapsodies now took on a deeper resonance, reflecting a mature understanding of his heritage. These pieces became beloved staples of the piano repertoire, capturing the spirit of Hungary. Liszt also lobbied for the establishment of a National Academy of Music in Budapest. The seeds of spirituality blossomed fully in Liszt's later years. His faith became a central focus, guiding his creative output. He immersed himself in sacred music, composing masses, oratorios, and other choral works. Via Crucis and Christus stand as testaments to his spiritual devotion. Even in his secular compositions, a sense of serenity and introspection emerged. In 1865, Liszt took minor holy orders, becoming known as the Abbé Liszt. This decision formalized his commitment to the church and serving a higher purpose. He divided his time between religious duties and musical endeavors. His work took on a new dimension, infused with spiritual purpose. Liszt continued to support young musicians, offering guidance and encouragement. Liszt's impact on music extended far beyond his compositions. He was a true innovator, pushing the boundaries of piano and orchestral music. His influence can be heard in the works of countless composers. His innovations in piano technique continue to challenge and inspire pianists today. Liszt's spirit of innovation echoes through the ages. Franz Liszt left behind a legacy that transcended technical brilliance. He was a composer of extraordinary depth, a pianist who redefined his instrument, and a teacher who nurtured countless young musicians. His music, once radical, is now firmly established in the classical canon. His spirit of innovation and generosity continues to inspire musicians and music lovers. Liszt's influence ensures that his name and music will never be forgotten. Bayreuth, 1886. Franz Liszt, the Titan, was nearing his final cadence. He had journeyed from Paris to Weimar, known triumphs and loves. Even as age dimmed the spotlight, his spirit remained undimmed. Visitors to his Weimar apartment found him surrounded by scores, his mind ablaze with possibilities. He never stopped composing, exploring uncharted territories of music. The world mourned when the inevitable news arrived. Liszt, the revolutionary, was gone, but in the hush that followed, an echo emerged, the echo of a musical landscape forever altered by his genius. To assess Liszt's impact is to trace the constellations of musical stars that followed. Wagner, his son-in-law, might never have reached such operatic heights without Liszt's early championing. The French Impressionists, Debussy and Ravel, owe a debt to Liszt's innovative harmonic language and his explorations of orchestral color. Even the brash, modernist pronouncements of a Stravinsky or a Schoenberg can be seen as distant echoes of Liszt's own willingness to shatter convention. He was a bridge between the classical tradition and the burgeoning world of late Romantic and early modernist music. He took the rules, those carefully constructed walls of musical theory, and dared to climb over, to peek beyond, and to beckon others to follow. And what of his piano works? They remain the proving ground, the Everest that every aspiring pianist must attempt to conquer. The sheer technical demands, the emotional depths he plumbed, the way he transformed the instrument into an orchestra, a voice, a conflagration, these remain unmatched. To play Liszt is not merely to perform notes, but to embody a philosophy of music, one that embraces passion, virtuosity, and the boundless potential of human expression. It is tempting yet reductive to confine Liszt solely to the Romantic era. While he embodied its spirit, its emphasis on emotional outpouring and individual expression, his influence stretches far beyond. Romanticism, in its purest form, is not merely a style, but a way of experiencing the world, of embracing the sublime, the terrifying, the beautiful. Liszt's music, with its grand gestures, its heart-on-sleeve emotionalism, and its willingness to push boundaries, speaks to that core of human experience. We still thrill to the virtuosity of his Hungarian Rhapsody, still feel the tug of heartbreak in his Constellation. His music is a reminder that some truths are timeless, that the human heart, in its capacity for joy and sorrow, remains unchanged across generations. In a world increasingly dominated by technology, by the fleeting and the ephemeral, Liszt's music stands as a bulwark against the mundane. It reminds us of the power of art to transport, to elevate, to connect us to something larger than ourselves. It is a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, a spirit that Liszt himself embodied with every note he played, every bar he composed. Close your eyes, imagine a lone piano in a dimly lit room. The first chords of a Liszt masterpiece fill the air. The fiery cascade of notes heralds the Hungarian Rhapsody No. 2. The music washes over you, a torrent of emotion and passion. In that moment, Liszt lives again, not as a figure confined to history books, but as a vibrant living force. His music continues to speak to the very soul of what it means to be human, a testament to the enduring power of art to move and inspire. His symphony echoes on, not just in concert halls and practice rooms, but in the hearts of all touched by his